Progress.
And the focus for tonight is for entrepreneurs and what is going on with entrepreneurs. We all understand the challenges we've got as entrepreneurs. And I know that what tends to happen for all of us is that we get really, really focused on our businesses. We spend a lot of our life building our businesses. We have a lot of our net worth tied up in our businesses. We have a lot of our income tied up in our businesses. And one of the challenges that I think a lot of people have is, how do they build a passive income outside of their businesses? How do they get diversification outside of their businesses? And that's the question that I think a lot of us should be asking. So thank you to Johannes from Helderkray and Andre from South Africa and Kenneth from Kimberley. Thank you for checking in and letting us know where you're coming from. So I want to start with a little video. And this video, I think, is important. And it just gives you a little bit of an intro in terms of who I am. In fact, before I go any further, just type into Walter Park, Andre. Fantastic. So do me a favor. Have you heard of myself, Scott Piggin, before? Just before I play my little video. I'm fascinated. We've had a clear focus. We tend to do this where we focus on specific people. And tonight, we're specifically focusing on entrepreneurs because we all have our different needs and wants. And entrepreneurs alike are united in many things, and equally our challenges are the same. So I'm just interested if you've seen or come across myself before. I've been presenting for over 20 years. So I'm always interested whether people have seen them. No, nothing to apologize about, Kenneth. It just gives me some understanding. So excellent. So what I want to do now is I want to share with you a little video which will explain a little bit about who I am and kind of where I come from.
Every single person has their own parameters, has what they're trying to achieve in their life. They have what's important for them and their family and their future.
But I'm also saying if you're on your foot and on your SCADA, if it's a long way away from your heart, you're going to lose it. But to be honest, those days are gone. That's 20th century. If you're not thinking globally, if you're not chasing the globe for the best returns, you're in the 20th century. It's very simple.
Could you maybe give us some more insight on where people should be looking? I believe you've just written a book on this with Clem Center. So share your insights on that.
As a result, it's not absolute production, actually. I think that's exactly that.
Here at Scott Piggin, who's one of the top property experts, offshore property experts in South Africa.
You're providing that access to allow ordinary people to make the kind of decisions that, obviously very rich people are making because they have a continual discussion with their advisor.
So there you've got a bit of a better understanding of kind of who I am and what I do. I hope that you know who Clem Center is. He's one of the top 5 strategists in the world, and certainly from a South African perspective, he's an amazing man. He actually helped the South African government. He spoke about the low road and the high road and getting us to democracy back in 1994. He's worked at Harvard. He's helped the Chinese government in terms of that process. And I've done a lot of work with him. In fact, I was very lucky that he actually endorsed and helped me write my book, which came out in 2013 called Property Going Global, which is what he was talking about. So the question and why we're here tonight is we want to help you invest like the top 1%. As Clem Center said, the really wealthy people all have access to the right information and the right partners. And what we believe in is democratizing access and giving and allowing everybody, you and I, to invest like the top 1%. That is our purpose. The question I'd like to start with, though, is who would like to get paid while they sleep? I mean, it's a question. I know most of us that are entrepreneurs work extremely hard. We work a lot harder than necessarily our corporate employees. And yet when you look at it, Warren Buffett says, if you don't find a way to make money while you sleep, you'll work until you die. And I mean, he's arguably the greatest investor on earth. And so again, when you look at it from that perspective, how many of us would like to make money while we sleep? Now, some of you will turn around, I certainly can, and say, I do make money while I sleep in my business. But it's beyond that. And maybe the perspective is, how do we make money outside of our business while we sleep? in terms of that whole process. The next question I would have for people is, who would like to own assets which are hassle-free, simple, and safe? And the reason I say hassle-free is because people are like, oh, I can go buy houses, and we're going to talk a lot about this tonight, where it's like, I can go buy houses. But if you've ever owned houses, you'll know that they are far from hassle-free. They're definitely not simple. And we're going to debate tonight whether they're a safe investment. Who would like to access the knowledge that the top 1% have? At the end of the day, the top 1% have access to knowledge that a lot of people don't have access to. What about the partners? Who would like to have access to the right partners that the top 1% have? I know certainly one for me, having built my business for 21 years, is who would like to have the time freedom? Just be able to take the time off and know that you've got that passive income coming in. Who would like to diversify and not have all your eggs in one basket, whether it's tied up in one company, or maybe it's one country, or maybe it's one asset class, or maybe it's one currency? It's all about diversification. You worked really, really hard for your money. Who would like to be able to protect their wealth, have a plan B, and have peace of mind? And lastly, who would like their wealth going global? So you can hear I've got a South African accent. We built our company out of London. I went to London in 1999, and that's where I built the company. And we got members in 178 countries. And so for me, it's often about wealth going global. But before I go any further, I want to start with a story. And it's a story of myself and Richard Branson. So I had the privilege of spending a week on Necker Island with Richard Branson. And I'm sure most of you know who he is, but he's the Virgin founder. And this was him and I. We were about to go kite surfing. And what was so interesting, and why I want to tell this story, is because I've always tried to put myself in the room where I'm the dumbest, poorest person, so that I can always learn. So I believe very strongly in getting in an environment so that I can learn from others. So I pay money, I pay coaches to help me learn stuff so that I can get there faster. Again, as an entrepreneur, I hope that you do the same, because it's certainly a way to accelerate your growth in terms of that process. And so I wanted to learn from Richard Branson. I think he's one of the best entrepreneurs on the planet, if not the best. And I wanted to get close to him, and I wanted to be able to spend time with him and learn from him, etc. And while I was there, what I realized was we had one homework assignment, and that was to bring along a life hack. Now, what is a life hack? It's a way to do something quicker, simpler, easier. So there were 25 of us that were invited. And I got to, as I said, spend the time with not only Richard, but with these other 25 incredible entrepreneurs. And we brought all these life hacks. And someone actually made a joke with me, because they said to me, Scott, what you are is actually a wealth hacker. And I thought about it, and I thought, well, that's exactly what I've done for nearly 30 years now, 28 years to be exact, where I've consistently tried to put myself in the room and the environment where I can learn from others. I will pay coaches to get myself there quicker, simpler, and safer. And so with your permission, I actually want to take my jacket off, because I think when it comes to investing and wealth, it can be quite a stuffy subject. And I'd like to be more relaxed in terms of the process. And with your permission, have my jacket off. And I wear the shirt with pride, which is, I'm a wealth hacker. And, I invite you to be a wealth hacker, because the bottom line is we can all learn from others. We can all stand on the shoulders of giants. And we can then get somewhere a lot quicker, simpler, and safer. So my question to you is, and you can see that I'm going to do a lot in terms of interacting through this presentation, through this masterclass, is why did you show up today? What is your big goal? What are some of the things that you haven't achieved yet? And how long have you been trying? And then specifically, what do you want more of? And do me a favor, type in the chat box. What do you want more of? We've all got things that we want. You came here, you gave up your most valuable asset, time, and you wanted to come along and you wanted something. So what did you want more of? I'm always fascinated as to what things people want. And then equally, when you want more of it, then what's been stopping you from getting it? So Reg says opportunities. Johannes says passive income. Andre says income. So what I would like to do is that Reg was the first one to answer the question. And so, Kelly, if you wouldn't mind reaching out to Reg and giving him $10. So what we're going to do is we're giving a payday to Reg. And tonight's all about paydays, by the way. It's all about passive income, and it's all about helping people get passive income and to be able to have a payday. And so, Reg, we've got a digital wallet. If you're already set up on our wallet, fantastic. We'll put it straight into the wallet. But either way, Kelly will reach out to you and be able to get you started. And my vision and my dream for everyone here tonight is that we're going to help everyone to be able to have a payday. And the reason being is that we've got passive income, we've got opportunities, we've got passive income, we've got earn money while we sleep, etc., etc., etc. And the bottom line is that passive income is the answer to almost everything. You want more time, great. If you got passive income, you have more time. You want more holidays, great. I want to send my kids to X school or go to Y university. I want to donate more to the church. I want to, be able to start more businesses, whatever it is. Ultimately, it's the passive income that will provide you with the answer. And the key thing here, and as entrepreneurs, you all know this, the key thing here is that you have to get paid. So I want to start with a lesson, and I would strongly recommend that this is where you take out a pen and piece of paper and write this down, or certainly have your phone available to be able to take a picture. Because there are 4 elements to passive income and freedom. The first is that you need the right partners. The second is that you need access to the right deals. The third is that you need the right information. And the fourth is that you need diversification. And if you look at the coloring, you can actually see here that the acronym comes up as PAID. And so what this is all about is how do you get paid a diversified passive income of $1,000 or more as soon as possible. If you want to get paid $1,000 or more as soon as possible in passive income, then you are in the right place. And the question that people say to me is, how? And I answer it fairly simply. It's by using technology. So the same way that Uber has changed the taxi industry, Airbnb has changed the motel industry, or Netflix, the blockbuster, it is exactly the same with regards to investing and wealth. Because if you think about it, just take this cell phone. Before the cell phone came out and before Uber came out, if someone wanted to have a private driver, literally only the wealthiest people in the world had access to a private driver. They would arrive at a meeting and Jeeves would sit there waiting for them, and they'd go have their meeting, they'd come back and they'd get in their car and Jeeves would drive them home. Come technology, we've all now, as long as we've got a smartphone, every single one of us has access to a private driver through Uber. They have democratized access to having a private driver that used to only be available for the wealthiest of the wealthy. And by using technology, we have allowed you to be able to get access to be able to invest like the top 1%. And I'm literally going to share it with you tonight, how it is possible and how we've helped thousands of other people do it from all over the world. I'm not going to be giving you financial advice, but what I do think is very, very important is that I want to be able to share with you my experience. 28 years of investing internationally around the world. I've helped people in 178 countries, and I've made many, many mistakes myself. And I want to help you avoid those mistakes. When you've invested $1.3 billion across 5 continents, trust me, you've made mistakes in the process. But there's also been very valuable learnings that I want to be able to share with you. And the thing that really helped and accelerated me is that I've always tended to make a massive investment in myself. I've paid a lot of money in coaches and mentors and to get close to the likes of Richard Branson and Tony Robbins, etc. And it's this investment in myself that has helped me accelerate my growth. And I want to share with you the lessons that I've learned through that process. And most importantly, I want to help you avoid the pitfalls. When you've done this 28 years, you've fallen down quite a few holes. And I want to help you avoid those pitfalls. So if this is you sitting over here and you want to get to whatever this is in terms of your freedom number, your passive income, whatever it is that you're trying to achieve, there's a journey you got to take, and there's many pitfalls that you need to avoid. And what I want to share with you this evening is 4 of the pitfalls that I fell into And if I can share my own experience with you, would you agree that if you understand it, you have a far better chance of avoiding them? Yes or no? Just type in the chat box for me. I love engaging with people. So can we agree that if I can share with you what those pitfalls are, you can avoid those pitfalls that have literally been holding you back in terms of getting the passive income, the very passive income that you've been looking for? So I unfortunately learned all of these the hard way. So one of the first traps that I felt accustomed to, and I'm sure many of you fall accustomed to, is relying on one source of income. You know, the challenge with most people is that they've got a job. Now, I know this is not you because you're an entrepreneur, but they've got a job. They've got one single source of income. But chances are you're a business owner, and a lot of small to medium enterprise business owners, and even some very big business owners, rely wholeheartedly on their business. If their business does well, it pays them. If their business doesn't do well, they're in trouble. And then equally, you've got property investors that might own one property or even two properties, and they literally just rely on that single source of income. That is what the problem is relying on a single source of income. When you compare it to the wealthy, they have multiple different income sources. And it's that diversification of income sources that gives them the freedom. Because if one stops working, they don't have to worry. They can just move on and rely on the second, the third, the fourth, the fifth. And it's that passive income that gives them the freedom. And I want to give you an example of a farmer. Now, he's farmed for 42 years, and all he knew how to do was to dig holes in the ground, plant seeds, and hope that a crop would come the next year. And then he learned about passive income and diversification, and this was his experience.
Scott, can you remember when it was Christmas morning and got me Christmas presents? Huh? Remember that? That's
Well, I have a little kid, so I get reminded quite regularly at the moment.
I tell you what, amazing. And he just got a few dollars back in my investments to get, it's the second payment that I got in that I've seen on my wallet. And it's money that I didn't have to slog for. I had to think for it, but I didn't have to slog for. And it's absolutely fantastic. It's just when you start seeing your money work for you, it's just an absolutely undescribable feeling. And as a farmer now, I've got a very specific goal, which says that I need to build alternate income streams so that the weather doesn't matter. Because that's being a crop farmer, the weather matters very much, and particularly this past year. When your income for a year is only 30% of what your expenses have been, you're in a difficult position. And to be energized and as excited as what I am in that position is incredibly empowering. Thanks, Scott.
So do me a favor. What's interesting is he started with literally his very first passive income was $6. And I love the analogy of a kid on Christmas because ultimately he got paid. And so I'd like you to, because I'm going to teach you some lessons through tonight, and I strongly recommend that you engage. And Andre, I'm going to answer your question now as well. But I'd like you to write down paid. And you can see on the right-hand side, there's a little money tree, and it's done on purpose. So the whole essence of what Derek is saying is that it's about getting paid. And it was getting paid that gave him that excitement in terms of that process. Now, before I move on to my second passive income trap, I want to answer Andre's question. Because Andre said, yes, but I'd like to know what's in it for you to share this with us. And it's fantastic. Firstly, you know that I'm doing this live, Andre, and for everyone else. But secondly, it's a great question. And I can answer your question very simply. I started building my business in 2004 based on Zig Ziglar's principle. You can have anything you want in life if you help enough other people get what they want. So let me say that again. Zig Ziglar said, you can have anything you want in life if you help enough other people get what they want. And so my philosophy is I want to build passive income. I believe my purpose and my passion is to allow everyone to invest like the top 1%. I'm going to share with you the journey we've been on, and I'm going to share with you the tools, the systems, and the ability for you to do it. Tonight, you will walk away with a way to be able to get started. my passion and why Andre is asking the question and why am I here on a Thursday night is to share the knowledge that I've learned. Back as far as 2004, I rented a room in London. I got 120 people to turn up. I taught them how to buy property in South Africa and England because I'd been doing it since the age of 22. And literally people were like, oh, wow. And by learning how to do it, they were then able to participate. And the more I help others to be able to invest, the more we collectively can do and invest together. And ultimately, if I help you get passive income, the more passive income that I'm going to get. So that's the understanding of what we do and why we do it. In terms of why I help you avoid the pitfalls, well, the more that I can help you get success and the faster that I can help you get success, the more you're going to want to work. And trust me, it's a simple equation. So where I took 20 plus years to learn this stuff, if I can share it with you and you can avoid them, then and you can get results, then obviously it's in my interest and your interest to help you get results as quickly as possible. So let's move on to the second passive income trap, and that's investing without a strategy. And I think this is really, really important. I mean, how many of you have a strategy? Let's be frank. And I'm not sure that I would agree that the strategy of going to see my financial planner and giving them all your money is a strategy. Because if you don't know exactly what your financial planner is doing, there's a good chance that you don't have a strategy. And the metaphor I like to use here is that if you don't have a strategy, it's like walking around a city with no map, no cell phone, no Google Maps. You're just walking around a new city. Chances are you're going to get lost. Okay, now again, wealthy investors and smart investors have a strategy. And let me give you an example of what I'm talking about here. So we work with a family office. Now, just do me a favor, type in the chat box if you've heard of a family office before. Family offices work with the wealthiest of the wealthy. They work with the top 1%. Sometimes they work with the top 1% of the top 1%. Now, I've worked with them since 2012. And what we've done is we've mapped out that there are actually 9 steps to generational wealth. They've got 65 clients. They manage just short of $1 billion. And for each family, they take them through 9 steps. Now, what is generational wealth? Generational wealth is not just looking after the money that you have now. It's about growing it. It's about your legacy. It's about your children and possibly even your children's children. And there are 9 steps that they take people through in this process. The scary thing for me is that if you talk about the typical financial planner, they literally do 1 of the 9 steps. 1 out of 9. And so you want the things that the wealthiest people have, but yet the process most of us take only follows 1 out of the 9 steps. And so again, do me a favor, take a picture of this, screen share it if you want, because the next time you go see your financial planner, you need to say to them, these are the 9 steps, and I want you to make sure that you are doing all 9 steps, because I need a strategy to ensure that I not only protect my wealth, but that I grow it and I leave a legacy. And here's a great example of a dentist and his experience of going through this process.
I've been a dentist for 47 years. I've just retired. And so I'm learning my new career path, which is very exciting. There's some incredible people on board. There really are. So I'm learning a lot. And in terms of learning, it's showing me a completely new path that I didn't even know existed. So it's been exciting. Really has, yeah. My financial advisor, who I think is very good. He's been with me 15 years and he's always looked after me. And I don't think he is a typical financial advisor because he runs his own portfolio. But it was typically that. I didn't understand what he was talking about when I went in there. He could say, well, I'm going to put this and do that and buy that and change this. I didn't know what he was doing. Now, all of a sudden, I understand what he's saying. I understand where we're going, and I can actually ask questions and say, no, I don't agree with that. Whereas before, I just listened and signed a paper. That was it. Now I feel that I'm in control. I really feel I'm in control of my financial future. And that gives me a lot of confidence going forward. And I'm trying to get my kids involved. My son-in-law wants to start a new business, and there's just so much now that I can impart my knowledge to them and feel confident with what I'm saying, not just saying it for the sake of saying it. I really feel I can help them on their journey to financial wealth now. that to me is probably one of the biggest spin-offs of joining you guys.
So the question I'd have for you, Derek, I asked you to write down the word paid, and I hope you wrote it down, because these are the things I want you to have in your life. So I want you to get paid. But the second thing I want for you is I want you to have control. What would it be like for you if you had the same experience as Evan, where you actually now felt like you were in control of your financial future? You felt like you could sit with your children and offer real tangible advice to them and help them with their knowledge in terms of your finances. So, again, you don't have to put it out there publicly, but I would strongly recommend you write it down on a piece of paper or in a notebook or something, because control. How many of us would actually like to be in control of our finances? So rather than just having, no strategy or just relying on our financial advisor, actually being in control of our own finances. The third passive income trap is thinking you need a lot of money to start. And this one is a fascinating one, because a lot of money to different people is different. Some people would say that $10 is a lot of money, and some people would say that $100 million is a lot of money. And different people have different perspectives. But I've got some good news for you. On our platform, you can literally get started from $10. Now, don't get me wrong. We've had people invest millions of dollars. The average transaction size per person is about $24,000. But we've had people start at $10. And as Mohammed said, thank you for the $10 entry. Makes me feel like a property tycoon. Move over Gary Cardone or Trump. And I always love it. But the most important thing that I've learned from having dealt with wealthy people is you just need to get started. If you take Derek as an example, the farmer, the first passive income he got was $6. And once you get the belief of $6, it's possible you can make 60. And if you can make 60, you can make 600. And if you make 600, you can make 6,000. And I want to be very, very clear. Tonight is not a get-rich-quick scheme. I'm not here to tell you how to get rich. I don't believe in it. I think it's gambling, and I think it's rubbish. But when you're investing and you're doing it based on proper fundamentals and sound principles, it takes time. It takes years. In fact, in many cases, it takes a decade or more. But the principle is you have to start. And that's why I'd ask you to write down the word start. Let's move on to the fourth passive income trap. And that is buying houses will fund your retirement. Now, how many of you were like me? I mean, let's be honest. We were all taught to go out and to buy houses. In fact, before I get there. So, we went out, and if you take me, I went out and I read all of these books. Rich Dad, Poor Dad, and this one, Rich Dad, Poor Dad, and Real Estate Riches, and Think and Grow Rich. And, I've done all the courses. I don't want to be arrogant, but I literally have an honors degree cum laude in property and construction management. I have a master's degree from London University from London in terms of in cum laude again in construction and property. I've done AIPP out of England, which is the top qualification out of England. I've done CRS out of America, which is Certified Residential Specialist. I've done PDP out of South Africa, which is the business school out of South Africa. I don't tell you this to boast. I tell you this because for 14 years, I went out and I did every course, I read every book, I found every mentor and every coach that I could. And what they all said was go out and buy houses. And one day, when you bought lots of different houses, you will be able to retire. Well, the truth is, I found that was a lie. And anyone who's ever bought houses knows what I'm talking about. Because actually, the system is broken. You and I are over here, and we want to invest in a property. There's 16 different middlemen between us and our investments. There's no trust in the system. There's no transparency. And because of the high fees and low returns, there's no alignment. And people sit here and they go, yeah, but Scott, I'm not sure. And 16 middlemen and the left brainers are like, oh, blah, 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 blah. The bottom line is, if you're anything like me, you would have learned that what happened to me was 16 houses. I owned 16 houses. I thought, if I got 16 houses, I'll be free and I'll be retired. Well, the truth is no. My hassle went up and my cash flow went down because all of those houses cost me money. So my hassle went up and my cash flow went down. And what was so interesting is it reminded me of a story when I was a kid. Because when I was a kid, I loved to play Monopoly. Now, do me a favor, type it in the chat box. Who else enjoyed Monopoly? Because I know I loved it. Okay. And what was so interesting is that as a kid, and I'm just, to be honest, I'm just an adult I'm a kid in an adult's body. I think that's the way I'm supposed to say it. And, so for Andre and Johannes and Andre, in terms of the process, was it better on the Monopoly pitch to own greenhouses or red hotels? Which one was it? I mean, most of us played this before we were 10 years old. Which one was better, greenhouses or red hotels? And Reg said red hotels. Anyone else want to give a guess? Johannes said red hotels. Andre said red hotels. Kenneth said red hotels. We all know it was red hotels. Okay, let's get a bit more advanced. What was better? 4 greenhouses or 1 red hotel? Which one is better? 4 greenhouses or 1 red hotel? Come on, let's see. So Basani said 1 red hotel. Do me a favor, Basani was the first one to get that. I hope I'm pronouncing it, Bonasani. Kelly, could you please give Bonasani $10 as well? Because he or she was the first person. I can see there's a bit of confusion now. Andre is saying 4 greenhouses, or 2 Andres there, both said greenhouses in terms of the process. So it's interesting. If you played a lot of Monopoly, you'll know that 1 red hotel is better than 4 greenhouses. When you play Monopoly, you buy 1 greenhouse, 2 greenhouses, 3 greenhouses, 4 greenhouses, and then the next level is 1 red hotel. And so it's so interesting. As children, we were taught that it's better to buy commercial property, commercial real estate, whatever you want to call it, more so than houses. And yet we all go out and buy houses. And so I say to people, there's a value chain in real estate. And I don't have time tonight to go into the full detail, but there's a value chain in real estate. And like any value chain, you want to be in the situation where you higher up the value chain. But right now, you're investing at the bottom of the value chain. I call this mom and pop investing or retail investing. And I always say to people, why don't you go up the value chain? Why don't you own industrial properties or medical hospitals or shopping centers or office parks? Why don't you do that? Or what about being a developer? Why don't you go out and build Midrand or build Sandton City or build the Mall of Africa? Why don't you do that? And what's interesting is that all over the world, people come back to me and they say the barriers that they face. I don't know how. It sounds too good to be true. There's too much compliance. I don't have time. Ongoing management, broken toilets. I don't have the right structures. It's too expensive. How do I protect myself? But in simple terms, it comes down to 3 things. I don't have the money. I don't have the knowledge. And I don't have the time. It's generally one of those 3 things that blocks people from investing like the top 1% in commercial property, from owning red hotels. And so I've got something very exciting that I want to share with you. So if I go here and I literally go to this platform and I sign in and I literally put in the logins, you can see I'm doing it live for you. And this is a platform, this is an investment platform. We spent $20 million and more than a decade building this platform, but it's called Wealth Migrate. And you can go here in terms of your profile. You can have it in your own name. You can have an offshore company or trust. You can go look at all of your assets. So again, you can invest around the world and you can look at all of your assets all in one place. You can go to your wallet and you can literally go and invest in and see your digital wallets. You don't have to go and set up offshore bank accounts. Everything's all in one place. But for the purpose of tonight, I want to go along and I want to look at some of the live deals. So right now, we have a deal in Manhattan. Yes, Manhattan, New York, America. There's 2 options to be able to invest, or 3 actually to be exact. There's a debt option where the return, the income return is 10.35%. This is net in your pocket, 10.35%. We've got an equity option where the total return is 22.5%. We've got a private equity option in London where there's a 25% option to be able to invest in London. We've got a debt opportunity in Austin, Texas, again, America, with 9.42%. And we've got an industrial commercial property in Phoenix with a total return of 16%. So let's play a bit of global monopoly. Do you want to invest in Manhattan? Do you want to invest in London? Do you want to invest in Phoenix, or do you want to invest in Austin? Which one do you want to invest in? Come on, let me know. I want to kind of see what people are thinking and where they would like to invest. Type it in the chat box for me. Come on, we're going to play Monopoly in real life. Let's be adults. So, okay, Kenneth said Manhattan. Andre said Manhattan. Sandesh said Phoenix. Andre said London. Okay, great. So let's go. Let me share my screen again. I just wanted to see what people had to say. And let's go and let's just invest in this first deal in Manhattan. I'm not going to go into all the detail of how to do it and read all about it. But I mean, if you look at the location, that is the New York Stock Exchange, and there's the building. It's no more than 2 kilometers. I can go through. I can read all about it. I can see all the different details. I can download the documents. I can understand the risks. Everything's here. But now I decide, right, I don't really like this deal. I'm going to invest in this deal. I can start from $10. I go continue. I digitally sign the agreement. I can download it if I want to. I go agree, and I go make investment. And believe it or not, you've just seen me in under 30 seconds invest live in Manhattan. Now, someone else said, I think the next one that came up was Phoenix. Great. So let's go look at an industrial property in Phoenix, one of the top 3 commercial properties in America. And again, I can go look. I must admit, when I was growing up, I never thought when I was buying houses that I would own an industrial logistics park. Remember logistics? You got all this e-commerce, Amazon and everything else. They all need logistics hubs. So this is a logistics park. And I can go watch the videos and everything else. But I decide I want to invest in this deal, again, from $10. I digitally sign the agreement. I go, I agree. And you've just seen me invest into Phoenix. Then Andre said he wants to invest in London. So let's go to London. And again, I can look at the opportunity here. I can read all about it, but I decide I want to invest in London. So I can get going from $10. I digitally sign the agreement, and I go agree, and I go make investment. And then interesting enough, no one said Austin. But I tell you what, for the purposes of what I want to do tonight, I'm going to go to Austin, and I'm going to invest in Austin. And I go here and I invest in this deal. I go continue. I digitally sign the agreement, and I go agree, and I go make investment. And what you've just seen me do live in front of you is invest in Manhattan, Phoenix, London, and Austin. I have diversified across 2 different countries, 2 different currencies, 4 different assets, 4 different partners, and across 4 different time frames. And anyone who's ever invested before and says to me, Scott, I don't have the time. Well, you've just seen me invest in under 2 or 3 minutes. Someone who says, I don't have the knowledge. Well, you've got access. You're investing with institutional partners where you can leverage off their knowledge. Or I don't have the money. Where previously you used to have tens of millions of dollars, you now can participate with $10. And so what does this mean? Well, if we go back to red hotels, every single one of these is a red hotel. You no longer have to invest in greenhouses. You can invest in red hotels. And yes, Reg, everything is legal and compliant. People move their money legally using their offshore allowance. I've helped thousands of South Africans invest over the last 20 plus years. Everything is completely above board and regulated. So, I mean, take this as an opportunity. Just take this as a simple opportunity in Manhattan. Depending on what you invest in, you've got a cash-on-cash return of 6 to 12%. You've got a target return, a total return, an IRR of 14 to 23%. You've got a 4 to 7 year hold, depending on what you want to invest in. If you put in $100,000, you would aim it to double that within 5 years, it's called a 2x multiple. And you're getting roughly a 20% return. And I've already shown you the location here in terms of that process. Just before I go any further, is this exciting? Like, is it just me that gets excited? Like, I know what it takes because like 10 years ago, I used to fly South Africans to America. We used to all have to fly over there. We'd go and open a company. We'd then open a bank account. We'd then go and buy houses. We'd have to manage these houses. It was a bloody nightmare and full of hassle. And what I've just shared with you is how you can truly invest like the top 1%. And it's why when someone asked me earlier, I think it was Andre, said to me, Scott, why do you do this? I tell you why I do it. Because what pisses me off is that we've all been taught that we have to buy greenhouses because that's all we can afford, or that's all we get access to this. And my philosophy is the wealthiest people in the world are investing in red hotels. So if we want to be successful, why don't we just invest in red hotels like them? And so people, because there's always people that are going to go, yeah, it sounds too good to be true. Well, let's go and look at some real deals. And once again, you can see that I'm doing this live. There's no presentation here. I'm literally logging into these platforms live in terms of the process. So if I go down here, this is an industrial building, 2 industrial buildings. So we invested in them. And you can basically see here that this one industrial building pays me $1,300 per month. And this one pays me $2,400. So you can see here, that's April, March, February, January, December, November, October, September, and I can keep going for as long as you want. Every single month, I get about $4,000 paid to me by these 2 different industrial buildings. And what I say to people is, it's interesting to me, because if you like houses, if you like dealing with broken toilets and management and maintenance and the tenant not paying and all that shit, and you like that hassle, then keep doing that. But if you want to get paid while you sleep, if you want to invest passively with an institutional partner, and every month you just get the distributions coming into your wallet, you don't have to worry about management or maintenance or collecting the rent or anything. It's boring. But if you want boring, then this is how the top 1% invest, and you can do it too. Here's another deal. So rather than going out and buying residential apartment or a house, we invested with an institutional partner in Oklahoma, where we bought 750 apartments. And again, this pays us $6,400. And you can see it paid us in March, November, August, May, February. So this one pays out every 3 months, every quarter. And again, you can go all the way through, pays out every single quarter. We just had COVID and people are like, oh, COVID is not a good investment. Well, what's interesting, we invested in December 2020 in an office tower in Tampa in Florida. It pays us $6,300. You can see here, April, Jan, October, July, April, Jan. And I can go all the way through, right down to when it started. So hopefully you're getting the message that truly it is possible that you can make money while you sleep. I'm not here to talk hypothetical. I'm here to show you how to do it. And Kenneth, I'm going to show you just now how you too can do it in terms of the website and everything else. But let's share another testimonial for you of someone that's done it and what they've experienced. And why I share these for you, these success stories, is that they're real people with real stories. And if real people with real stories are doing this, then I believe you too can.
Can I invest? How can I invest? Learning about the property more, because I was investing on the property in the old-fashioned way. But now I know the new fashion way of doing investing on the property without a stress. Because you never know which family will get, as I got the new family right now. And Scott, I would say this Saturday, I felt like a billionaire. I felt the sense of the 9 figures. When you were on the cruise, I was like, I feel like I'm a billionaire.
So, I'm not saying you'll be a billionaire, but there's no reason why you can't feel like a billionaire. And again, if you want to be successful in life, copy successful people. If you want to be wealthy, copy wealthy people, or better still, partner with them. And so I'd like you to write down the word billionaire, because that's exactly what you said. That's how it felt to be able to invest in these deals. And Andre said a question, if you say it pays us, who is us? Us as the investors, because we collectively come together and invest in deals, and us investors get paid out, be it monthly or quarterly, in terms of that process. And what's so interesting is that by doing this, and for me, investing like the top 1%, it's allowed me, because I, over the last 20 years, have invested on 5 different continents, 5 different currencies, 40 different assets, 15 different partners, and across time. And what it's afforded me to do is to live a lifestyle. I live in Knysna. I don't know how many of you know the garden route in South Africa, but I live in Knysna. This is a picture off the back of my boat with the sun setting. This is a picture from the front of the boat with the Knysna heads. This is the beach with my son and a friend, and we just parked the boat on the beach, and this is the beach we go to many evenings. This is the view from my balcony. This is what I wake up to every morning. And this is my son and I sitting in our jacuzzi. It's also afforded us to travel. We love rugby. I don't know how many other rugby fans there are out there, but in 2023, we were in Paris watching the Rugby World Cup. This is us outside the Eiffel Tower. How many of you would like to take your kid to Disney World? And this was him and I at Disney World. Southeast Asia and Europe, that whole side of the world. Beautiful, idyllic tropical islands, or even this, the Great Wall of China. And again, I don't tell you this to boast. I just tell you this upon when you start to learn how to invest like the top 1%, then you can start to have the passive income that can allow you to create the lifestyle that you want. But for me, where did it all start? Well, this is a picture of me and my dad. And I was 13 years old at the time. This was my very first property project. And what was so interesting with this story is that my dad did what we were all taught to do. And I'd be very, very surprised if you too were not taught this. He was taught, go to school, go to university, work hard, get a great degree, get a good job. He invested, he trusted the financial industry. He paid his taxes. And don't worry, you'll be fine at 65, you'll retire. Well, the truth is that didn't happen. At the age of 59, my dad died broke. And I was horrified because he pretty much did what we were all taught to do. I mean, he was financial director of Rainbow Chickens. It's a big listed company that most of you in South Africa would have heard of. And I went out and I decided to do the research. And I learned this from a guy called Dr. Hannes Dreyer. And interesting enough, in England, Australia, and America, at the age of 65, 94% of people will be the same as my dad. They'll be dead, broke, or reliant on the government. 5% of people will be what's called financially independent. And a lot of people, if I'm in a live room, I go, who wants to be financially independent? Everyone puts up their hands. I want to be, I want to be, I want to be. But the truth is, according to the financial industry, you are financially independent if you earn 25% less than your last paycheck. That's just financially trapped. And so 99% of people are either dead, broke, reliant on the government, or financially trapped. And only 1% of people are what is, wealthy, basically, at the age of 65. And so I decided to do it completely differently. I decided I'm not following what we've all been taught to do. I did my first property project when I was 13 years old. I did my first property development when I was 22 years old. I did my first London property when I was 24 years old. And at the age of 25, I became an entrepreneur, just like you. And I started a company where I helped thousands of people invest in South African property, hundreds in UK property, hundreds in Australian property, and hundreds in American property. But the challenge that I realized is that most people were stuck in country. If they were South Africans, they were stuck investing in South African property. If they wanted to invest in international property or commercial property, there were massive barriers. And that didn't even take into account the tax and the complexity. And what I realized was that the 99% could not invest like the top 1%. And then I had two big pain points. When we had the crash in 2008, the global financial crisis, there was an opportunity in Wimbledon. So you know Wimbledon, where they play tennis in England. And there was an opportunity to buy 48 units, so buy an entire building with 48 units. And for me, it was a no-brainer. I had 2,000 investors, 2,500 to be exact. I went out to the 2,500. I said, I don't care what happens to market values in the short term. This represents a real opportunity. It had a 40% discount. It was giving us a £440 cash flow positive. It was fully tenanted, fully furnished. And yet I couldn't get people to work together. I ran around. I needed £10 million. I couldn't get people to work together, and we lost that deal. A year later, I was in Bondi Beach, Sydney, and I met two very wealthy gentlemen, and they were investing in medical building. And I remember saying, why medical? And they said, well, think about it, Scott. No matter what happens, people need doctors. I was like, yep, that makes sense. Secondly, doctors never leave their premises. I was like, yep, that also makes sense. And thirdly, doctors are great at being doctors, but they're not great accountants. So they sign good long-term favorable leases. I was like, shit, that also makes sense. How do I participate? And they said, no, well, we're raising $40 million. and there's 8 slots of $5 million. So again, I ran around to all our investors. I couldn't get people to participate. We lost out on that deal again. And that business went on to be worth $700 million. And what I realized was that I'd been trying to do it all myself. Here's a great example of I wanted to invest in America. And so I paid $8,000. This is a guy, I don't know how many of you have read this book, Real Estate Riches. So Dr. Dolph DeRoos wrote this book. And, it was probably one of the first property books that I read and I liked. So I paid him. I paid $8,000 to go and spend a week with him in America. So this was us. There he is there. This is us on the steps of the courthouse in 2011 in America. Because my philosophy, like I've already told you, is when I want to learn something, I pay people to teach me it so that I can learn it a lot quicker. Just my interest. You're all entrepreneurs. Does anyone else do this? Does anyone else have coaches or mentors or people that you pay so that you could learn and get there quicker, simpler, safer? Yes or no? I just want to know, is it just me or are there other people? Andre says yes. Johanna says no. Interesting. I've certainly found it as a significant way to move forward. But what I realized was I was trying to still do it all on my own. So I was learning from Dr. Dolph DeRoos. I paid him to teach me how to do it. But what I realized was I was still trying to do it all myself. And then I had the privilege of going to Fiji with Tony Robbins. Now, I assume you know who Tony Robbins is, but he's probably the best business coach or life coach in the world. He was named by Accenture in the top 100 most influential people. He's an amazing, amazing person. And this was me. I paid $50,000. So, you're getting a sense now of what I believe in investing in myself. I paid $50,000 to go to Fiji and to spend time with them. And what I learned through that process was it's one thing to learn from someone, but it's another thing to partner with them. Because in 2011, I got the rights to be Tony Robbins' business partner. And we actually launched a business breakthroughs together. And what I learned through that was the power of partnership. I could try and keep doing it all on my own, or I could partner with someone. And if I partner with someone and they hold my hand, I go so much faster. And so I took that forward into commercial property. And in 2014, we did our first commercial property deal. It was 6 different buildings. It was worth $16 million. And through partnership, we invested with high quality, institutional quality partners. And what was interesting is that we owned these buildings for 5 years. We had an 8% cash on cash return and a 15% IRR. So that means 8% positive income in our pocket every single year. And we earned a total return of 15% a year. And my question is, who here would like returns like this? Because these are real. This is what we've done over the last 10 years. And I learned that this was all about partnership. And so from 2014, we went on. We did it in America. We did it in England. We did it in Europe. We did it in Australia. And we did it in South Africa. We've now helped people in 178 countries. We've invested $1.3 billion. We've paid out over $31 million in dividends, distributions, or exits. And what's so important is that there's thousands of people, names and faces. I've shown you a few of them tonight. Real people, real stories from all different walks and backgrounds in life, that I believe that if they can do it, then so too can you do it. I mean, this guy is an example in South Africa. He audits the Auditor General. He's a chartered accountant. He audits the Auditor General. And for the ladies out there, I think it's really time to there's a massive movement around the world, women and wealth, and ladies being empowered. And all of these ladies are highly successful entrepreneurs, many of them actually. And this is about their investments and ultimately about them getting the results. And so my question to you is, who would want the same results? These people are getting the results. Would you not want to be the same? Would you not want to get these results? And the question I tend to say to people is that there's 4 reasons which are stopping you get what you want. There's 4 elements to passive income and freedom, and there's 4 steps to passive income. And with your permission, I'd like to ask your permission. Do you want me to share? I'm conscious of time, but do you want me to share the 4 reasons which are stopping you from getting what you want? the 4 elements to passive income and freedom, and the 4 steps to passive income. Okay, so thank you, Andre. Thank you, Johannes. Thank you, Andre. Okay, great. I always joke, but I mean, I know this stuff. So, but I'd love to share it with you in terms of this process. Right. The first thing I want to share is the 4 reasons which are stopping you from getting paid. Most things in your life, you use one of these excuses as to why you don't have it. I don't have the money, I don't have the knowledge, or I don't have the time. I think they're fairly self-explanatory. And just by the way, I deal with entrepreneurs and successful business people all the time. And one of the things they always say to me is, Scott, I'm working on my business. I don't have time. I don't have time. And I'm like, but what do you want when you're 65? Oh, no, I want to be free and I want to have passive income and I want to be able to have a legacy and leave money to my children. Great. So how much time are you investing in that? No, but I don't have time. And I'm like, well, then it's never going to happen. If you don't invest at least three hours a month in anything, it's never going to happen. It's the same as your health. If you don't invest in your health, you will lose your health. So whatever you want in life, you have to make some time to make it a reality. And then lastly, people are stuck in the passive income traps. I've been through 4 of the passive income traps. There's at least 9 that have dramatically impacted me in my life. I've shared with you 4 of them today. And you need to get out of the passive income traps. Because what's interesting, and I guarantee you would have seen this before, as Albert Einstein says, the definition of insanity is doing the same thing over and over again and expecting different results. If you've been trying to get passive income for the last year or the last decade, or maybe even a couple of decades, if you keep doing what you've always done and it hasn't worked, the chances are it's not going to work because otherwise it's insanity. You have to do something different. You have to do something different in terms of that process. So I shared with you right up front, what are the 4 elements to passive income? I shared with you, but I want to repeat it because hopefully now it makes sense to you. You need to have access. You have to have the right partners. You need to have access to the right deals. You need the right information. And you need diversification. This is what we call the paid framework. And this is how you get paid a diversified passive income of $1,000 or more as soon as possible. Now, I want to share a little video with you because sometimes people go, oh, yeah, but you know, I don't know. Well, there's this incredible lady. She's a teacher. She's divorced. She's a single mom. She had 3 children to feed. And watch this video and how she achieved a result in 30 days. And my philosophy is if Cynthia can achieve a result in 30 days, then so too can you.
A foreign country. I can't go back into my old career, which was China media, because I'm living in Italy. I had 3 kids to feed. I left my husband. And I was like, where's my skill set? So I was actually at the stage of like, just how do you put food on the table? And it was the first time it hit me that I was working for money, selling my time for my hours for time, and that my money wasn't working for me. And I was in that frozen position of like, what do I do with it? Like, I need this money to work for me because I'm over here scrambling to find a job and to put food on the table for the kids. I was really at that paralyzed, what do I do? What do I invest in? I was at that age where I felt like I don't have another, ride it out 20 years and the stock market always rebounds. I don't have another 20 years to ride it out. What are your needs? What's your financial situation? And I pulled up that matured, fund that I had and said, I need to invest this, but I can't invest it for the long term. Here are my needs. I have immediate goals. I have 3 children that have just gone off to college. So I suddenly have immediate financial goals that I'm not going to be able to meet if I keep just relying on my income or selling time for money. And they listened. They asked really smart, relevant questions I wouldn't have thought of, but they were particular to me. And I didn't feel like I was being put into a box of you're this type of investor, or you're this type of investor, or you're this type, And it wasn't just the like, are you high risk? Are you low risk? It was really they really tried to understand my needs. And within 24 hours, they had a proposal to me. But here's what we're going to do to solve your immediate problem. And within 1 month, I had income coming in from an investment from them, which just liberated me. I mean, it was just the buffer I needed to not panic about money anymore and to make the rest of the decisions slowly and, from a different mindset.
I mean, the thing that I would ask you all to write down here is 30 days. Now, again, this is not a get rich quick scheme, but if I could share with you how to be able to get started and to be able to earn a passive income within 30 days, how many of you would like that? Because she did it. Hundreds or thousands of other people have done it. And if they can do it, why can't you do it? I went on to ask her another question because, just imagine the financial, as you said, the burden that comes off your shoulders when you actually realize this becomes possible in terms of your process. I asked her another question about what we've just spoken about with the paid framework. And this is what she had to say.
It's a safety net that's just unbelievable to me that someone who is not by any means a high net worth individual can have your money working for you, can have my money working for me and give me that peace of mind. But there really isn't anything like finding the partnerships that we have in this group. So yeah, I think the partnership is the number one reason to join the mastermind. It's not just about the knowledge. It's about how do you execute, but you can't execute unless you have the deals in front of you. And you can't have deals in life, in any aspect of life, unless you have good partners. And it's the partnership that I would highly recommend people to it's worth the entire investment. When I think of where I was 1 year ago, it's a million miles away. And not just because I have income coming in, but knowing what my next steps are. Like I know where I'm going. I know where the next chunk of money is going to go into. I know what, I want to invest in. I know what I don't want to invest in. And I know the partners that I want to do it with. And that's just a huge weight off anybody's, financial shoulders.
So, do me a favor and write down that word, because this is why I'm trying to help you with this stuff. Partners. You can try to figure out how to do it all yourself, or you can literally do it through partners. And that's why that paid framework is so important, because it starts with partners. So let's move to the second thing that I promised you, the 4 steps to passive income and getting paid and ultimately having, and there's a reason there's a line there, whatever it is you want. We started off this evening. Do you want more time? Do you want more freedom? Do you want to be able to travel more? Whatever it is that you want, well, by getting passive income, you too can achieve that. And there are literally 4 steps. We call it the 4 steps to payday. Because you can go to our platform, you can literally sign up, you can complete your profile, you can fund your wallet, and you can invest. Now, let me draw a little picture for you here. So Jill and Joe Soap, you and me, are lying in our bed, and we've got an asset. Let's just say it's a house. And the bottom line is we want that house or that asset to pay us money while we sleep. We want to get paid while we sleep. The problem is we go out and we go and we read courses, we read books, we get busy, our business needs our attention, our business needs our money. And so we do all of this stuff and then we basically fall off. And so we asked ourselves the question, how could we help people get from A to B as quickly as possible? How could we help people get passive income as quickly as possible? And we set ourselves a challenge, because we wanted to help people get paid. And there's a little picture here of a camera. I would take your phone out if I was you. This is no Picasso, I want to be very clear. But I would take your phone out and take a picture. Because how many of you would like to lie in bed and get paid while you sleep? I don't care how wealthy you are. To be able to get a diversified passive income out of England, out of America, out of Australia, out of Europe, from multiple different partners, multiple different assets, is a dream come true for most people. And that's why we say it's about getting paid. And so we created the 30-day passive income challenge. And what is important is that in 30 days, it's 4 weeks. We literally take you through each step. In week 1, we help you sign up. In week 2, we help you complete your profile. In week 3, we help you fund your wallet. And in week 4, we help you invest. All 4 weeks equal your payday, because you get paid your passive income within 30 days. And what's so interesting is that people say, I don't have the time. I say, cool. Do you have less than 1 hour per week for 4 weeks? I mean, how many of you here have less than 1 hour per week. You could invest, less than 1 hour a week for 4 weeks if you knew it was going to give you your payday or your passive income. And I fundamentally believe where there's a will, there's a way. We always know that it is possible. And we love that Monopoly. But when you play Monopoly, you've got the chance card, and it's your get out of jail free card. And this truly can be your get out of jail free, whatever it is. Maybe you're tired of your business. I just had a drink with a gentleman before I came to this event, this presentation. He's an entrepreneur. He's tired of his business. He wants to get out of it. Okay, but maybe you want to move countries, or maybe you want to move cities. Whatever your jail is, this could be your get out of jail free card. And so what is so interesting is, let me recap for you the 4 passive income traps, the 4 things that have literally stopped you. The first is relying on a single source of income. And I remind you that the wealthy build multiple income streams that work together. The second is investing without a strategy. Many people invest blindly, hoping for returns. Smart investors follow a proven system. The third is thinking you need a lot of money to get started. The truth is, you can start earning a passive income from $10. And the fourth, buying houses will fund your retirement. The truth is, your home doesn't generate a passive income. In fact, it costs you money. And traditional rental properties, well, anyone who's ever done it knows that they are far from passive. I've shown you tonight, and we started off with Warren Buffett. Who here wants to get paid while they sleep? Because if you don't, you're going to work until you die. I've shown you tonight, I've literally shown you how to do it, that you can get paid while you sleep. I've shown you how you can own assets which are hassle-free, simple, and safe. I've shown you how you can get access to the knowledge that the top 1% have. I've shown you how to get access to the partners that the top 1% have. I've shown you how you can have time freedom. I've shown you how you can diversify across countries, currencies, assets, partners, and time. And I've shown you how you can protect your wealth, have a plan B, and have peace of mind. Would you agree, yes or no, that I asked you right up front if you would like these things? And can you agree that in the last hour, I've literally shown you that it's possible? But most importantly, I've shown you how you can get passive income. And I've shown you how you can get paid. And the question most people should be asking is, so how do I actually get paid? Because how many of us have been out, we've watched courses, we've read books, and it all sounds hell of a nice. And then we have to do it. And that's the question everyone is asking. And so what we did, and with your permission, can I answer this question? Can I literally show you what I did myself and what I've helped thousands of other people do so that you can get paid? We call it the Payday Accelerator. Andre says, the courses tears me. They always come with a big catch. Yeah. So let me keep it simple for you, Andre. And for Johannes, let me show you. And Andre Kruger, let me show you. We call it the Payday Accelerator. There's 4 simple steps. And I'm going to make it easy for you. And there's no catch. The first is that you do the 30-day passive income challenge. As I said to you, you sign up, you complete your profile, you fund your wallet, and you invest. We call it the 4 steps to your payday. The second step is you have a wealth discovery call. This is where you sit with one of our wealth coaches and we understand what is it that you're wanting to achieve. We understand where are you at the moment. We understand what has prevented you from achieving what you want to achieve in your life. And, sorry, I didn't realize I wasn't sharing my screen there. And we help you find the fastest way to achieve it. The third step is that we've actually got a wealth university, and you can get access to our global wealth university with the knowledge and the courses so that you can do the work that you want. I don't believe in learning for the sake of learning. I believe in learning while doing. I believe the best way to get results is to learn while doing. Look at how we learn to walk. How many of you learned to walk by reading a book? You didn't. You got involved and you learned while doing. And the last part, and if you're an entrepreneur, you know this probably better than anyone, It's coaching and accountability. So for 4 weeks, we have an accountability coach who will turn up live once a week for 4 weeks, and we'll help people. We'll coach them and we will hold them accountable. You know, according to Harvard, you are 400% better off with a coach. How many of you get started in life and you want to do something and then you get busy and you don't do it? And I believe that the coaching and the accountability is so critical to helping you get results. There's a beautiful quote: a good coach can change the game. A great coach can change your life. I'll give you an example of this. You might want to take a picture of that. I love this in terms of that process. But just what a couple of people have said. William said, "You guys are so honest." Corin said, "Sure, blessed to have come across this information. Boggles my mind, but with partners like you, I will all get there. It's like eating an elephant. How do you do it? Bit by bit." Amar said, "Your network is your net worth." Frankie said, "The coaching and hand-holding we're receiving is actually priceless." Normusa said, "The presentation is very inclusive. It's for every ordinary people to get involved. It's a fair price, very clear, and people get to participate during the presentation." Corin said, "May I agree on Alex, mind-blowing. I will climb Kilimanjaro with him." William said, "I did the 30-day challenge. I started investing. It was well worth it." Frankie said, "Passive income challenge changed my life and has put me in a wealthy mindset." Rochelle said, "Absolutely. The 30-day challenge was worth the time spent on it." Bagwanda said, "Thank you, Scott. I'll be revisiting tonight. Wealth Migrate has changed my entire outlook when considering investments. Where have you been all along? I guess in my case, late rather than never." And so I just want to remind you, oh, and by the way, Derek said, "I can do it. If I can do it, anyone else can do it." So I want to remind you of those 4 steps. Step 1 is the passive income challenge. And what do you get out of that? Well, you basically get passive income. The value of that, $399. Step 2 is you get the discovery call with a wealth coach. That gives you clarity on your next steps, $99. Step 3, access to the Global Wealth University. That gives you the knowledge, $99. And step 4, coaching and accountability. That gives you results. I mean, I know if you're an entrepreneur, you want results. That's what makes you an entrepreneur. That's worth $400. How many of you would like peace of mind, though? I mean, this is all about freedom. And I don't believe you can put a price to that. That, for me, is priceless. Or what about smart investing? You know, we all have a smartphone, a smart watch, a smart laptop, a smart iPad, a smart TV. Why don't we use technology to do this safely and simply? It's a system. And again, I think that is priceless. If you put the total value together, it's worth $997. But for those people that actually do this and get their passive income within 30 days, I'm going to throw in some bonuses. The first bonus is the freedom calculator. So what's really interesting is people say, "How do I get free?" Well, imagine if you had a calculator. Imagine if you had a calculator where you could calculate what is the number that will allow me to be free, and what do I have to do to make that a reality. That'll be our first bonus, is our freedom calculator. Our second bonus is our wealth plan. I spoke about a strategy earlier. Imagine having a plan where you were clear on why you had to do something, how you had to do it, and what you had to do to be free, to be financially free. How many of you have a wealth plan already? I'm going to give you as a bonus your own personalized wealth plan. Bonus number 3 is a roadmap. Imagine if you could start with $100 a month, and 20 years later, you could get to $15,000 a month. There's a roadmap. I'm going to give you the roadmap on how you can do that. It gives people hope of what is actually possible. And bonus number 4 is I'm literally going to give you a return on investment calculator. Whether you're talking about this or any other investment you make, you should have a calculator where you can calculate your return on investment. As an example, if you're investing $100 a month, just $100 a month, and if you invested $97 in yourself, so you invest $97 in yourself to learn something, over 1 year, you got a 40% return on investment, or $38. Over 5 years, you got a 1,100% return on investment, or $1,000. How many of you would invest $97 in yourself if you knew it was going to give you back $1,000. Over 10 years, it's 4,900% or $4,800. Again, how many of you would invest $97 if you knew it was going to give you back $4,800 over the next 10 years? And what about 30 years? Because most of you, even if you are 60 or 70, you should be thinking 30 years from now. Because this is not about you, it's about your children. It's about your legacy. And over 30 years, it's 76,000% or $74,000. A $97 investment in yourself is worth $74,000 to you over the next 30 years. And you need a calculator to be able to calculate these return on investments. So let me remind you of the 4 steps. You've got the passive income challenge, which gives you passive income. You've got the discovery call with a wealth coach that gives you clarity on your next steps. You've got access to the Global Wealth University, which gives you knowledge. You've got coaching and accountability, which gives you results. You've got peace of mind, which gives you freedom. You've got smart investing, which gives you a system. And then as bonuses, because that alone is worth $997. But as bonuses, you've got the freedom calculator, which gives you clarity. It's worth $997. The wealth plan, which gives you direction, is worth $99. The wealth roadmap, which gives you hope, is worth $99. And the return on investment calculator, which gives you confidence, is worth $99. If you put that all together, it's worth $2,291. But we had a choice. We could either do this in a very bespoke way where we work one-to-one people and we make it very, very expensive. I work with people, I charge $1,000 an hour. And the point is I only work with a few people and we keep it really expensive, very exclusive. Or we could live up to our purpose and make it affordable and allow everybody to invest like the top 1%. And so we decided we're not charging people $2,291. But the question I would have for you, and I'm not going to do this, but would you invest $1,000 if all it did was help you achieve your freedom goal? Would that be worth it to you? I mean, answer it in your head, write it down, type it in the chat box. But would you invest $1,000 in yourself if it would help you achieve the freedom goal? What about if all it did was provide you the 4 simple steps to get a passive income of $1,000 or more? Would you invest $1,000? Yes or no? What about if all it did was provide you a system to get passive income safely and simply? Would it be worth $1,000 to you? What about if all it did was provide you with the confidence and the clarity to get results that you've dreamed of? Like literally all it did was give you the confidence and the clarity that you can get the results that you dreamed of. Would it be worth $1,000 to you? And finally, what about if you actually got paid while you sleep? Would it be worth $1,000 to you? Now, the good news for you is we should be charging $997. Courses that are our equivalent and programs and what we're doing, it should be $997, but we're not charging $997. In fact, I'm so inspired by South Africa and everything that's happening with Freedom Day. You know, everyone says to us, we should at least do $297. We're not even doing that because our whole philosophy is to help you invest like the top 1%. I literally started off tonight and I said, we are here to help you invest like the top 1%. And so I remind you everything that you get as part of the Payday Accelerator. It's worth over $2,291. And for you tonight, we are literally giving it to you for $97. Now, when I'm in a live room, this is where people stand up and like, woohoo, because you can literally get access to everything that I've said to you for $97. And all you've got to do is you go to this link, diversifiedpassiveincome.com/payday. If you want diversified passive income. That's what the domain is, and /payday. And I can see that Kelly has very kindly put it in the chat box for you. If you're watching the recording, you can literally go to this link. And again, if I click on the link here, just quickly, I'll open it up for you. You can literally see, you'll get paid while you sleep. You can see everything that I've just said to you. So you've got the 30-day passive income challenge, the discovery call with a wealth coach, access to the Global Wealth University, and the 4 weeks of coaching. And you've got the bonuses, the freedom calculator, the one-page wealth plan, the wealth roadmap, and the ROI calculator. And if you want to watch this little video, you can literally rewatch the video in terms of what I've just said. And you can put in all your details here, and you can go and see all about it. What can you expect from it? Real results from real people. Is this right for me? You can kind of get the sense in terms of this whole process. And then some good news is that we actually put our money where our mouth is. As long as you follow the steps, if you do not get a payday within 30 days of your first investment, we will give you a money back guarantee. We know it works. We've done it thousands of times. As long as you follow the steps over the 4 weeks, we guarantee results. That's how confident we are that you will get results. So I say to people, $97 will not change my life. I guarantee it. But it can change your life. Like I've shown you so many other testimonials of people of their lives that has changed. But I want to share one fast action bonus for you. If you take action tonight, if you're actually here tonight, and if you understand that there is actually a formula. So I have a course, which I've done many years ago, and I'm redoing it in the month of May. And so for the people that take action before I do this course, you'll be able to join me. It'll be a home study course. And what I will show you, it will be no more than 60 minutes long. And I will show you how you can build a wealth plan. So most people are either employed in a company, I know you're not, you're an entrepreneur, or they're self-employed, which I'm sure many of you are. You run a small business or a business and you're self-employed. And I'll show you how you can move from that quadrant. If you know anything about Rich Dad, Poor Dad, you should know what I'm talking about, to the freedom of the investor quadrant as quickly, simply, safely, and predictably as possible, without being trapped by the financial industry, scammed, or giving your power away to someone else, and without adding additional stress and hassle to your life. Now, for me, this is really, really important because I'm not interested in taking your money. I don't take your money and I've got all the knowledge and you don't get empowered. What I am passionate about is empowering you so that you can make the right decisions. And that is why I wanted to share this course with people that take the fast action bonus. And you know what's so interesting? Oh, welcome. Someone's just joined us. So well done to whoever you were. This course alone is worth $997. For $97, you literally get a course just on its own. This alone is worth $997. And I remind you that you literally get the Payday Accelerator, everything I've explained to you. Sure, people are starting to understand that this is valuable to them. You get the Payday Accelerator, literally everything I've spoken about tonight for $97. And so let me just recap for you everything that, Kelly, can you just switch that off, please? I love the fact everyone's participating, but it can get a little bit irritating for me. So let me just remind what the Payday Accelerator. Step 1 is you get the 30-day passive income challenge. It's all about passive income. Step 2 is you get the discovery call with the wealth coach, which gets you clarity on the next steps. Step 3 is you get access to the Global Wealth University, which is all about knowledge. Step 4 is the coaching and accountability. This is all about results. You get the peace of mind, which is about freedom. You get the smart investing, which is all about the system. You get the bonus. I mean, that alone is worth $997. You get the bonus of the freedom calculator, which gives you clarity. You got the wealth plan, which gives you direction. You got the wealth roadmap, which gives you hope. And you got the return on investment calculator, which gives you confidence. You put that all together and it's worth $2,291. And if you chuck in the fast action bonus, which is the home study course, which gives you insight, it's worth over $3,288. And because you're here And because you want to get a passive income, we're not charging $3,288. You're literally getting the Payday Accelerator for $97. We have tried our best to make it a no-brainer. Now, I haven't been asked the question in the chat box, but I get asked it all the time. And the question is, why do you charge? If you're so passionate about helping everybody invest like the top 1%, why do you charge money? And I can tell you very categorically, when people pay, they pay attention. When people pay, they pay attention. I've done this now for over 20 years. Remember, I've been running my company for 21 years. I used to do everything for free. And what was astounding, do you know what the stats were? The average number, we would have 300, so every month we run the challenge. We would have about 350 people sign up for the challenge. Do you know what percentage of people actually finish the challenge? Anyone want to take a guess? Type it in the chat box. Anyone? Let me know. What do you think? So Bonasani said 1%, Andre said 10%, Kenneth said 10%. It was less than 2%. And well done, Andre. It's going to be wonderful going on this journey with you. It was less than 2%. And so we're not interested in working with people that hope and want and stuff. We're here to help people get results. If you want to get results, then you're in the right place. I often joke that on my tombstone one day, they're going to have Scott Pickett and then they're going to have results, because that's what I'm interested in. And when people pay, they pay attention. So we're asking you to make a paltry investment, and I'm sorry, but $97 really is not a lot of money. But we're asking people to make a commitment, because you're not making a commitment to me. As I told you already, it's not going to change my life, but we know it can change yours. And when you make a commitment, then that's when you focus and you get the results. And again, I'm sure that you've experienced this in the past. You've done something in your life, you've made a financial commitment, and then you go out there and you get the results. And so I think you've got two options. You can use the excuses I've already told you that stops everyone from getting what they want. I don't have the money. I don't have the knowledge. I don't have the time. You can stay stuck in the traps. And there's a lovely picture. I love this, because come Christmas time, you're probably going to be like this gentleman, head in your laptop, frustrated, another busy year, nothing changed. You didn't get passive income. You didn't diversify. You didn't protect your wealth. Or you could have another option. You get what you want. You get the passive income that you want. You get the knowledge that you want through partnerships. You get the time that you want. And you get the freedom that you want. And I love this picture of a family, a generational family with a grandparent, children, and their children. And they're on the beach at Christmas. And they've got peace of mind because they've done it. They're no longer wishing or hoping. They've done it. And a great example of this is this gentleman, Michael Honeysett, because 10 years ago, he came to a live presentation of mine, and then he wanted to invest overseas, and he was very skeptical. So he jumped, this is 10 years ago, he jumped on an airplane, he flew with me to America, and we went and started buying houses. And he said to me, Scott, I want to buy these houses so that one day I have the freedom so that my daughters can live wherever they want. They can go to university wherever they want. And you know what's beautiful? 10 years later, his daughters live in England. His daughters are studying in England. And he literally said to me, when I joined, it was the best money I ever spent. And what he said to me next is it would never have happened if I tried to do it myself. And so the question I have for all of you is, how many of you want to get paid? I asked you, what do you want more of right up front? Do you want more time? Do you want more holidays? Do you want to be able to work in another company? Do you want to start more companies? The answer always comes down to passive income. Passive income is the answer to whatever it is that you are looking for. We have created the Payday Accelerator, 4 simple steps to help you achieve it. I promised you tonight that I would show you. This is how you get paid a diversified passive income of $1,000 or more. You've got a choice. You can go left and keep doing what you've always done and keep buying greenhouses and investing like a mom and pop or a retail investor. Or you can go right. You can start to invest like the top 1%. You can start to partner and invest alongside the top 1%. And just like you learned in Monopoly, you can start investing in red hotels and commercial property. Our Payday Accelerator is literally your get out of jail free card. And if you don't trust us, well, go and look at Trustpilot. You better get a cup of coffee or go to YouTube, get a cup of coffee, because you're going to be there a long time. You're going to be reading all the different messages, watching all the different videos. Hundreds and thousands of different people from all around the world, 178 countries, have been through this. And that is why we've got a guarantee, because we know it works. And as long as you do the 4 steps, within the 4 weeks, you will get the results. And that's why we guarantee the results. We put our money where our mouth is. And I remind you of the return on investment, because we're talking investment. You know, at the end of the day, if you want to get started with a $97 investment in yourself, $97 in yourself, and you invest $100 a month, just $100 a month, you invest in deals, it'll be worth $4,800 to you in 10 years and $74,000 in 30 years. The single best investment in the world, according to Warren Buffett, the greatest investor on the planet, is when you invest in yourself. $97 in the next 10 years will be worth $4,800 to you, and over 30 years, $74,000. And if you want that, all you got to do is get the Payday Accelerator and go to this link, diversifiedpassiveincome.com/payday. So that's all from me. That's our Payday Accelerator, literally $97. Our whole focus is to help you get paid. And I want to leave you with a final quote and something that's very dear to my heart. Nelson Mandela said, "Money won't create success. The freedom to make it will." Money won't create success. The freedom to make it will. What we are trying to do is we are trying to give people the freedom to make it. You are entrepreneurs. You are the heart and soul of this country. You are the people who are going to employ and change the game in this country, just like the vision of what Nelson Mandela looked for. But money won't create the success. The freedom to make it will. It's been an honor and a privilege to be able to share this with you. I will answer some questions. There were a whole bunch of questions. And well done to Johannes who's joined, and Andre. I can't read all of them that are coming through, but fantastic to all of you that have joined. You know, at the end of the day, I remind you of what you're going to get. You're going to get the Passive Income Challenge. You're going to get the Wealth Discovery Call. You're going to get the Wealth University. You're going to get the 4 weeks of coaching and accountability. In the bonuses, you're going to get the Freedom Calculator, the Wealth Plan, the Wealth Roadmap, and the Return on Investment Calculator. And for those of you that take the Fast Action bonus, you're also going to get the home study course that I'm going to be running live in May in terms of that process. So, Kelly, there were some questions that came through that I'd love you to just type them again for me, or to even to speak if you want to, and let me know. I know that there's a bunch of questions as well. I know that Kenneth said we'll soon complete the payment. No problem, Kenneth, in terms of that process. I do just recommend that you try do it in April so that you can take advantage of the Fast Action bonus. Let me run through some of the questions because Kelly's kindly put some of them in here. I'm really busy and time poor. How much time will this require? It takes less than 1 hour a week. In fact, you know, honestly, it's close to 15 minutes a week, but let's just be conservative and say less than 1 hour a week for 4 weeks. It's a total of literally somewhere between 1 hour and 4 hours in total. And if someone says to me, I'm really busy, I know you're an entrepreneur, you're really busy. Trust me, I worked till 1 o'clock last night. I'm presenting tonight. I know exactly what it's like. You know, as an entrepreneur, the shit show of next week and public holidays and everything, I know what it's like. But if you want something in life and you don't make the time to invest in it, it's never going to happen. And so we've literally reduced this to the smallest amount of time to help you be able to get results. I'm not sure if I qualify for this. I do have investments, but I'm not sophisticated. You don't have to be sophisticated. We've shown people, I've shown you tonight how you can get started with $10. And I just want to be clear, we don't only have $10 investors. Many of our investors have invested $1 million plus, and the average transaction is $24,000 per investment. Is this South African focused? I have a South African accent. I choose to live in South Africa. I don't have to. I've got a British and an Irish passport and an international company. I choose to live here. And no, it's not South African focused. We help people from all over the world invest in England, America, Australia, and Europe. Why should I join the Payday Accelerator? Well, this is a simple one. It comes back to that Einstein thing. You don't have to join. We've built a 4-week accountability to help people get results. If you're super duper good at doing it all on your own, then do it. But I would sort of ask the question, if you haven't done it already, what's going to change? What's the minimum investment? Well, that's $10 in terms of that process. This one here, I really need accountability. Will you hold me accountable? Yes. We do 2 things. We have a WhatsApp group so that people can participate in the WhatsApp group and we can cheer each other along. And you get a lot of motivation actually when someone else is like, hey, I did this, I got a result. And you're like, oh shit, I need to do this as well. So there's that. And one of our wealth coaches, it turns up every week. Where are you at? Are there any blockages? What's happening from an accountability perspective? I know certainly for me as an entrepreneur, accountability is critical. Do you have a payment plan? No, we don't. $97. Where there's a will, there's a way. If someone wants to make stuff happen, where there's a will, there's a way. And $97 is not real money. And to be honest, if people can't find $97, that's a problem to start off with. We do have an affiliate program. So again, where there's a will, there's a way. If you help 3 other people join, and you don't have any money, but you help 3 others join, then you can do it for free. So I always find a way to help everybody invest. But no, we don't have a payment plan. And then are there any other questions? And I know, Kelly, there were some questions that you put through to me. Andre said, payment is done, but I don't have the confirmation email yet. Is that normal? Just check your spam maybe, Andre, in terms of the process. Either way, the team will make sure that they reach out to you and get it sorted. Reg said, what is the first step after paying? Reg, so what basically happens is you get signed up onto the platform. So we've got let me show you here quickly. I love these questions, by the way. I'm loving the engagement. So you go here. So we've got a platform, which is our Wealth University. You literally get signed up into the community and you'll get access to the community immediately. And then you've got the classroom here and the passive income challenge. And we literally get you started. So we run it on a monthly sequence. Week 1, week 2, week 3, week 4. You can catch up. Some people say, I want to do it in a week. You can if you want to. So we just at the point, we literally this Wednesday closed out this month, the month of April sequence. And then we'll start the next sequence starting next month. You'll be added to the WhatsApp group and you'll get access to all of the things that I've already shown you here immediately in terms of that process. We'll get the Wealth Discovery call set up. And the 4 weeks of coaching and accountability will take you through it. So yeah, Reg, we've designed this in a way to help people get going. Just by the way, for those super duper people that really kind of want to get started, you can go in here and you can watch the videos. So like if you like, I don't want to wait 4 weeks, I just want to get started. Well, you can go watch the video and get going. It doesn't have to take 4 weeks, but we've just found that having a small amount of a task and activity, 1 a week for 4 weeks is the magic formula to help people get results. But you can do it a lot quicker if you want to in terms of that process. Kelly, what were those questions that you wanted? I'll go back and look here quickly. Where did she put them?
I'm here. So
Okay.
Kenneth was asking for the platform website, the Wealth Migrate website. So I'll quickly put that in the comments.
Yeah.
Do you want me to do that?
So that's the website. So it's wealthmigrate.com is our investment platform we use. And I think the next question ties in with that. If you haven't realized already, I'm very passionate about teaching people, but I see no point in teaching people without giving them access to be able to take action. And so we built Wealth Migrate. We raised over $20 million in funding to be able to build it. It's taken over a decade to build. So although it looks simple and easy, it's taken us $20 million and over a decade to do it. And yeah, I don't know if that answers that question.
Is that Andre's question that you're answering? He said, how did you guys do this when you saw the platform?
Oh, with a lot of pain. So for those entrepreneurs that are out there, and I'm sure all of you are the same, you have no idea how hard something is when you get started. If you did, you wouldn't do it. That's me. I mean, Kelly's been part of this journey the whole time. She knows how hard this has been. But when you've got a true purpose and a passion, it helps you get, move mountains. And truly, I know a lot of people say this, but really it is our passion and our purpose to help everyone invest like the top 1%. You heard the story of my father and the massive personal impact that had in my life. And I'm like, no one should have to be like my dad. Like, why don't we all just invest like the top 1%? So that's been the passion and the purpose to just drive us through some very, very difficult times to make it a reality. Charles said, what are the tax implications? Charles, no different to any other investment. So when you invest, whether you invest in South Africa or internationally around the world, it's the same as any other investment. And, again, I don't give tax advice publicly because it's different for everyone. But, you're a South African citizen, you're investing globally, you are taxed on your worldwide income. You can set it up and invest in an offshore structure or trust so that you can be more tax efficient. But everything is 100% tax compliant in terms of the process.
And then the last thing is you mentioned the WhatsApp group and the affiliate program, which I'm running. I wonder if I should put my contact details in the chat box if anybody wants to get hold of me.
Yeah, so that's perfect. So if anyone wants to reach out to Kelly, if you want to be an affiliate, if you like what you do, just by the way, I have a very big belief system, and I haven't brought it up tonight on a slide, but actually I did because Andre asked the question of Zig Ziglar. You can have anything you want in life if you help enough other people get what they want. Well, if you like what we're doing, then help us change the world. Like, help us create the world that we all want to see. Because as entrepreneurs, imagine if we could go out and do what we love and have money, coming in while we sleep in terms of that process. And as Andre said, because I understand the pain to get that done. Yeah, I mean, anyone that's ever started a business knows what it takes. Trust me, technology, compliance, regulation, dealing in all the different countries. I certainly we chose a very difficult task. But, my father taught me many years ago, anything worth doing, anything that's difficult is worth doing and takes time. So, and Johannes said, yes, interested in the affiliate links. So all I would say, Johannes, and that's to you or anyone else, just reach out to Kelly directly and she'll be able to assist you with that. She's put her details in there.
Put your number if you want to in the chat, and then I'll contact you.
Yeah.
Whatever's easier. And same with Bonasani. I don't know if he's still online, the second prize winner, but I didn't get a mobile number. But I'm sure it comes up on the registrations, just if they are online. Thanks, Johannes.
Cool. Awesome. Okay. Well, I want to share one final thing. It's an African proverb. If you want to go fast, go alone. If you want to go far, go together. Oh, there you are. Bonasani's just sent it. So Bonasani,
great. Thank you.
Because with that, Kelly can help you put $10 into your wallet. And we've given you a payday. We gave, forget the gentleman's name who was right up front, but she had a payday.
Reg. It was Reg.
Reg had a payday. We want everyone to have a payday. What we've shared with you tonight is the ability for everyone to have a payday. And if you want to go fast, go alone. But if you want to go far, go together. And I want to thank you all for your time. It's always a privilege and an honor to be able to do it. Kelly, thank you for your support to the team.
Yeah.
Allows this all to happen behind the scenes. I deeply appreciate it. And I want to leave you with one closing thought. We started tonight with a question. How do you get paid while you sleep? And my invitation to you is join us. Come on a journey. Join the Payday Accelerator and get paid while you sleep. Stop dreaming about it. Stop thinking about it. Stop reading about it. Do it. And if there's one thing that we all know as entrepreneurs, the difference between people that succeed and fail are those that take action. I don't say that normally, but tonight is a specific focus on entrepreneurs. Those that take action are the ones that get the results because you learn while doing. So I hope you enjoyed this. Just by the way, we play a little game at the end, and I'm going to finish off with this game. And the game is, what is one word that you would sum up the last 90 odd minutes for you? So on the count of three, I'm going to go 3, 2, 1. And on the count of three, you just put in the one word. And I'm fascinated what people always say. So 3, 2, 1. What's one word that you take from tonight? And thank you for everyone that's put that in here. So I've got insightful, mind, hang on, what do we got here? Insightful, opportunity, money, mind-blowing, money, self. Awesome. Well, thank you to all of you. I hope you enjoyed it. Yeah, should we be doing, I mean, I've got you here. I'm going to ask questions. I've been giving all night. I'm going to ask some questions now. Is it worth, when I do these presentations, do you like the fact that tonight we focused just on entrepreneurs and we didn't just do it in general? Like, do you think it makes sense because we can kind of resonate with your problems and your challenges? I'm just interested. I'm always interested in people's feedback. And if this is something that you think might be valuable to others, I'll be doing it again in May. But yeah, I'm always interested in what people think in terms of the process. Can be more relevant. Yep, no, completely, Reg. And I think the point being is that, look, the entrepreneur one's an easy one for me because I've been on, that's all I actually know. If I had to do one as a corporate employee, I would have no idea. But yeah, if there's, and specifically, Reg, while I'm here, if you've got any questions, ask me whatever you want, particularly from an entrepreneurial perspective or anything else. I'm happy to help. I might even give you some business advice. Sorry, that's arrogant. But I've invested a huge amount of money in my personal development. When I went to Tony Robbins, I was there with Chet Holmes. Now, Chet Holmes has doubled the sales in 50 of the Fortune 500 companies. So Fortune 500 are the 500 biggest companies in the world, and he's doubled the sales of 50 of them, which is flipping impressive. And he ran Business Mastery and Business Mastery 2, and he was Tony Robbins' business partner. So when I got the rights to be their business partner, both of them personally coached me. So in another life, one of the things I enjoy is coaching or helping business owners with growth, sales and marketing and growth. Okay, so boom. So yeah, anything I can help with there, Reg, let me know. Andre, I help other business owners and sharing with them will be so useful. Just by the way, Andre, for you, it hasn't been launched yet, but I'm going to give you a little sneak preview into this. Wait, before I share, let me find the right thing for you. So we're going to launch, we haven't launched it yet, but we are going to launch it. Where's it gone now? So we've just got a landing page at the moment, but it's basically business owners' wealth. So this is all focused just for business owners. And one of our champions, or what's it called, Kelly, when you've got like someone that helps sort of ambassadors, is Abdul. He's a 70, in his mid 70s. He's been a chartered accountant for 40 years, but he's built an entire own audit. Like, he's a highly successful entrepreneur, and he actually audits the Auditor General of South Africa. And we're actually looking to build this entire thing out where we do exactly what Reg wants, where we focus just on business owners and entrepreneurs and what they need to be able to solve problems. So anyway, that's a sneak. I don't know why I just told you that, but we're actually.
I thought you were going to play the video, Scott.
Well, I can play the video if people want me to.
Do you see this question from Reg and from Bonasani?
So Reg said the amounts you paid scared the hell out of me. How did you justify that before you did it and got any returns? Yeah, so it's a great question, actually, Reg, and I could keep going. You'd be surprised. So let's start with let's do the $50,000 one. So when I told my mother that, she thought I'd gone absolutely bonkers. Like, she thought I'd lost the plot completely. And I went to Fiji, I paid $50,000. And what was so interesting is that in those days, I was helping people invest in Australian property. And basically we helped them invest in off-plan property. So we would help people invest in property, but we'd only get paid about a year later or maybe even 2 years later when the development finished. So it was a very difficult business because I could never employ good people because we never had any cash flow. So it was a nightmare. And by spending $50,000 and by just being around different people and being taught to ask different questions, and specifically from Tony Robbins, he taught me the principle of Sam Walton from Walmart about being resourceful. So he didn't give me the idea, but he put me in the environment to come up with the idea. And I came up with an idea where I could effectively get my money up front. So by doing that, I was able to employ people. And less than a year later, that was 2010, less than a year later in 2011, I was in New Zealand watching the Rugby World Cup. I was at the final in 2011. And while I was on holiday for a week, we made 11 sales. And 11 sales in those days was the equivalent of about, we made about $12,500 per sale. So we made 11, it's over $100,000. So within 1 year, in 1 week, I made $100,000 plus. And I'm trying to answer your question, Reg, as to how you justify it, because it's the way, like often when you put yourself in the right environment, and unfortunately, sometimes the more you invest, what you pay for is what you get. I can go to a business coach down the road and he charges me 500 Rand an hour. But that's why Tony Robbins charges $1 million an hour. What you get, what you pay for, what you get. And so it scared the hell out of me. But I live by my father's metaphors, which is where there's a will, there's a way. And I didn't have $50,000 to be clear, but I found a way. And it was a life-changing moment for me. I know people say that, as I drop in the ocean, but I really do, because that allowed me to really start to build the business with other people. Then I met Roger Hamilton. I joined his mastermind. That cost me $25,000 a year, which, by the way, I did for 10 years. And he then taught me how to hire people and build systems and teams. And from that is how we built Wealth Migrate in 2014. So you can extrapolate this into, and just by the way, it's not all positive. I'll tell you the negative side of the story. The company got quite big. We got a whole bunch of shareholders. We got a whole bunch of corporate executives and all that. And suddenly they were like, "Oh, we can't afford to pay for coaching." And then we went backwards as a company for a while. If you've been an entrepreneur for a while, you'll know what I'm talking about. And then I lost my own way. And then in the last couple of years, I found my way again. And I went, "I don't care what you corporate wankers think." Sorry, I'm being very direct now. Now I'm talking like an entrepreneur. And I'm going back to what works: coaches, mentors, masterminds. Put yourself in the environment where you want to win. What are the legalities of offshore investment and how do you calculate taxes on such properties? So Bonisani, again, it's a difficult question to answer around tax. We do, even in our freedom calculator, we do have a calculation for tax, which you can change to whatever you want, but I work on a calculation of 30%. Again, remembering we've got people in 178 countries, so it's very difficult to get specifically focused on being able to answer your tax. But the legalities are: we are regulated in the UK. We're a juristic rep in the UK. The wallets out of Europe, we got European compliance. Everything, we're in a regulated industry, so everything has to be regulated, and everything is tax compliant as well. Okay, boom, boom, boom. I'm sitting with a business owner tomorrow to try and help save a business. So this will be brilliant to share with entrepreneurs like her. Yep, no, perfect, Andre. I'll share one little thing with you. Let me get this video for you. I'm a very big believer in dreams and getting clear on your dream. And if you want to, I'll share it with you. I'll play it for everyone if you want me to. But here's the video that we made back. I'm going to put it in the link for everyone. This is the video that we made back in 2015. It's the ecosystem video. It's 4 minutes long. Do you want me to play it for you? Who wants to see it?
Yeah.
I'll play it.
It's a good video.
Let's finish with this video, because back to that lady or anyone else, you have to have a vision. You have to have a dream. And if you've got a vision or a dream in life, everything is possible. And so we made this video, and I just need to find you the video quickly. We made this in 2015. And we were like, right, this is what we're going to build. And through massive, massive challenges, we built it. And I'm super proud of it to show you everything now, because nothing is a dream anymore. Here it is. So let me play this for you. It's 4 minutes long.
We'd like to introduce you to a revolution unlike any other throughout the history of mankind. This is a wealth revolution, and it's going global. Did you ever think that you'd be able to benefit from the only real, time-honored investment mankind has ever known? Real estate. Real estate investing has only ever been accessible to a small percentage of the world's population. This is no longer the case. The wealth revolution means that wherever you are on your wealth journey, Be it taking your first steps or taking off globally, you can join our global community, a community of real estate investors just like you. The Global Wealth Group is experiencing exponential growth, and wealth has never been this accessible. A truly global wealth revolution. We dream big, and our dream is to impact the lives of 1 billion people. 1 billion people. How will we do this? Through groundbreaking digital platforms that allow investors like you to take part in exciting real estate investment opportunities. These opportunities are waiting for you everywhere, anywhere, worldwide. Now you can invest in real estate with any amount of money, from the comfort of your couch or your internet device. Introducing our global brand ecosystem. Wealth Create, Wealth Migrate, Wealth University, The Wealth Movement. WealthCreate.com is a platform for those taking their first steps on the wealth journey. The new investors who earn whilst they learn using real or virtual currency. Imagine this. Now anyone can own part of a hospital, a share in their local shopping mall, co-invest in a new and exciting development, or even earn quarterly returns from residential and commercial tenants. They, you, can now stand alongside multi-millionaire investors and earn the same relative amounts. WealthMigrate.com is a platform for those investors who are already soaring, as well as those who seek to join them. You can now own and manage a global portfolio of commercial real estate and do it all online. You'll benefit from the capital growth of your investments and get paid quarterly dividends in first world currencies, whether they be from commercial tenants or the funding of developments. The global dashboard shows all available opportunities, potential investment pledges, upcoming deals, and most importantly, allows you to manage your global diversified portfolio in one place. Passports and visas also become easier to obtain, as well as tax-efficient structures that allow global flexibility. Create the freedom you desire for you and your family. WealthUniversity.org is a video-based e-learning platform for those who want their wealth knowledge to take off. Our research shows that the wealth mindset is the single most important aspect of creating and sustaining wealth. Test your wealth IQ and challenge friends and family to find out theirs. Acquire the thinking, secrets, habits, and proven success strategies used by the world's wealthiest investors, as well as that of our global community, who aren't just talking about it, but are actually creating it. Graduate and change your destiny and your future. WealthMovement.com is the global gathering of our fans and followers in conferences hosted in local cities around the world, inspiring minds to help each other create more sustainable global wealth. The goal? To build a wealthier world together, and together to help reduce the wealth gap between the haves and the have-nots. Gain the latest up-to-the-minute knowledge of technology forecasts, internet finance, exponential thinking, collaborative smart investing, co-creation, apps and platforms, global wealth forecasts, cryptocurrencies, and new and exciting investment opportunities. This is your chance to meet your global wealth partners, co-investors, and friends, to be inspired by the world's wealthiest individuals, and to learn to think how they do. We are pioneering a global wealth revolution. Join us. Let's change the world.
There you have it. That was 2015. We presented that for the first time. And yeah, over the last 10 years, we've built it. It only cost $20 million plus. But anyway, hopefully that helps everyone in terms of understanding. And yeah, cool, man. Same to you, Andre. I look forward to this journey together. And with regards to everything, I'm glad you enjoyed it, Reg and Andre Kruger. There's two different Andres. And I look forward to those of you who joined the Payday Accelerator. I look forward to seeing your results. You know, I always say to people, the thing that I enjoy most is people's results. So I look forward to your success stories. And like I said, if thousands of other people from 178 countries can do it, you too can do it. So if those of you got a payday today, well done. And I hope that you all have a payday. Have a wonderful weekend ahead. I know that we've got, Freedom Day coming up. And my belief system is that why not make every day Freedom Day for you? Good night, everyone. Cheers.